Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy. And today we have a special guest with us that we know from around town. He lives in Las Vegas, of course, the name Sonny Las Vegas. And he's an up and coming YouTuber. Like I said, we like to support the channels that, he has 11,000 subs, so that's nothing to sneeze at. But we like to support the channels that are a little smaller than us, and sort of like a way to kind of give back to the community. But I think, if anything, you guys are going to enjoy the conversation. So let's go ahead and bring on Sonny. How you doing, Sonny?
I am doing well. Thank you for this invite. I was a bit nervous the first time a few months ago when you asked if I would want to join in it, because this is a different feel for me. I'm more of like a content creator. I share what I buy to resell, how much the potential is to sell it for. So the business part is one thing I really enjoy about your content, is that it's where I need to be educating myself to learn more about and really stick to about business and not just content all the time.
Yeah, yeah, and you have your channel, and you mostly go out and about locally, pick up stuff to buy to resell, and that's what I've watched when I watch your videos. Good content though. And you like to go over to Broad Acres. That's a local swap meet, and we kind of touched upon it before the live. I've been there one time. We went there one time.
I've been there. We went together once, and then I went with my son to
Yeah.
do actual shopping. But I don't find it to be a great place to pick up things to resell. But then again, maybe we're in the right.
Well, here's the deal. We were going up to the different booths, and we found stuff. But when we went up to them and say, "Hey, what do you want for this?" $20
Yeah.
for like a pair of shoes.
We're like
really? So it was like that. Like every booth we went to, it was like, there's no way you're going to be able to make a good profit here. But so is it just getting to know the people, developing the relationships at some of these places?
I've been told that when it comes to flea markets and swap meets, garage sales, yard sales, there's this presence of expecting to bargain. And
Mhm.
sometimes people throw out a number. If you're going to pay for it, then they're going to take it, if that's what you're wanting to pay. And I think the precedence of it is, if you're a reseller and you want better prices, then it doesn't hurt to ask. All they're going to do is tell you no. And
Right.
I've been learning some Jedi mind tricks along the way, because I'm very passive when it comes to prices. If I know what I could get it for, like as in profits I could get from it, I'll just pay it. Because I know that I probably paid for many of things before that from them that I made big profits on, and that's my way of just saying thank you without saying thank you. So
Right.
there's a bunch of variants of that works for me. So it's a game from what I'm told.
Yeah.
Well, here we are in Vegas. The weather's pretty nice. Was at yard sales this weekend and did pretty well. Ran into Art of Resell actually at a yard sale, but it's going to come to a point here in the next few weeks for like a good couple months.
Yeah.
December, January, and into February, where there really aren't going to be too many yard sales. So, do you find that going to a place like Broad Acres, because they're open every week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a swap meet type atmosphere is probably your go-to place during those months.
What I'm learning recently, and I'm new to going to places and learning things. I was working at the Win for 4 years. My time there was very limited and thrifting. I would go 30 minutes before work, rush to get to work to not clock in late, get out of work, list stuff, go to bed, and repeat all over again. So what I've been learning recently, as in a little over 2 years, just past August, that there are more than just flea markets and thrift stores. There's auction houses. There's sites to shop from. There's networking from people that and I believe you said this before too in your recent video, that tell people what you do, and you can make connections with them. And that's been working out for me. People have been reaching out, say, "Hey, I have this." Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's sketchy, and you're like, "I'm wasting my time. These people are rude." Like, they
Right.
know what I do, but at the same time, they don't. They just assume you have fat pockets and are going to throw money at them just because you're a reseller, not
And they know
knowing
you're a
more
reseller,
to
right?
it.
Do they know you resell? Most of these
Yes,
people.
many of them do, especially at the flea markets. I've I found for me, networking isn't the best word for me to use, but it's one that's familiar. I like to make friends before networking. That just comes along with it. I used to look at what was on the table and not realize who's bringing those items to the table. I was very short minded and I started realizing, wait, let me talk to these people and see where they get it from. They've been so comfortable, vendors, is what I'm talking about, the people, and they say, hey, I get it from storage units. You could do it too. And they'll give me pointers. They'll tell me what things are, what they're worth. And at times it's the value of what information you get from people, because you don't always walk away with something, even if you go to wherever you're going to, thrift stores, garage sales, yard sales, retail arbitrage stuff. You don't always come home with something, but knowledge is the valuable thing.
Right. Yeah, I strike out a lot when some, like the yard sale I went to, was it 2 weeks ago? Man, it was just horrible. I mean, it was pretty sad. I do the little drive by. I turn the lights off, go slow, and just kind of creep by. And then I do a U-turn. I come back and creep by again. And then, of course, you could tell by then if there's anything worth stopping for. And I wasn't stopping any yard sales. I think I stopped at 2. It's one of those, we had like at least 40 on the app this last weekend, and a couple of them were community sales that had like 30. There was probably at least 120 yard sales in the Vegas Valley. And I can tell you that most of them are just sad. You got like one table set out with like, you have some little kid watching the table while you're inside. That's the kind of yard sale I'm talking about. So, last weekend was good, but up to that, it just hasn't been very good at all. But you do yard sales as well in the Vegas Valley, or you just swap meets?
You were just saying that it's gonna be cut short soon because of the weather, and that cold weather here is creeping up. I haven't been doing garage sales and yard sales until recently. Like, I'm late to everything. I'm just a creature of habit, and next year I am telling myself I am going to be all over these garage sales and yard sales. I am going to be like the shark in water.
Really good.
Yeah. I'm going to be chasing blood.
I don't go out very often with him, but when I do, I have a different, from watching your videos and, many others, I have a different eye now, I guess you could say. Being in this for this long, I didn't really dive in as far as what sells and what doesn't until recently. And I think that, going out now, knowing what I know and what I've seen, it just brings a whole new light to the fun of it.
The problem with you, though, is I can't get you out of bed to go with me.
No.
And it used to be that we'd go to yard sales and she would just look for things that, we can bring home and not sell.
Just for me
and
stuff.
It's like, okay, we're running through the wad of cash here for the wrong reason. So it got to a point where I didn't mind her sleeping in, So want to do what we normally do. Unless there's anything that you want to talk about, bring up, certainly we can do that. We have a good solid hour and a half at least that we like to spend on this podcast, and based on the comments from the folks that are hanging out with us, it could go a little longer than that. So
all right.
Let's see here who we got. We have PTS Treasures in the house. Says hello everyone. Has anyone heard about the new selling site District and your thoughts? I'll let you answer that, Sonny.
I'm actually I'm becoming more and more familiar with it. So just a little background of reselling for me to where I'm at now and reselling. So for the longest time, I was strictly eBay. As of a little over a year ago, I started using List Perfectly. I've been figuring my way out on what platforms work best for me. And with the Boss Reseller Remix, I learned, or I've heard it before, but it stuck this time. And Chaz was talking about this, and he said, manage your time like you manage your money. And it makes sense because they both go hand in hand. So I started thinking about that, and I was looking at what platforms are best. And it was eBay. And all the other ones, I was like, I could do Whatnot. I don't need these other platforms like Mercari and Posh and a few other ones, because it was wasting time. So I narrowed it down to eBay and Whatnot. And then the crazy lamp lady just invited me to be part of her marketplace, Knickknacks. And I'll share that link if it's okay, if I have that wrench or something later. But So she invited me on it, and I think it's only been about 2 weeks. It's a platform to sell things, and I think it's really good. There's other people who are on there. I think I just heard of Craigslist Hunter is also on there, starting his own, and
Yeah.
it's a lot easier on Whatnot, but I think District is going to help, say, for knickknacks, which is what I like about this marketplace that the Crazy Lamp Lady put together. That there's a lot of things what I like to find as of the last 2 years that
Mhm.
other people know from us content creators and resellers are going to have there, and it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be narrowed down to a better customer base, and it's
Mhm.
going to help out a lot. But I also look at it as looking at items of what people are selling for that I could learn from, go out there, venture out, and maybe remember to get this stuff. And plus, it's mobile as well. You could do it on a computer or on an app.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that the District has an app. I believe it's only for the iPhone. I don't think it's
Yeah,
for the
it got,
Android yet.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Ivan just confirmed last night that it is they're working on the Android, but it's not here yet. So it's only on the iPhones.
Right. And we are under Craigslist Hunter. We're giving it a shot, seeing what we think. Jenna's been on it more than I have. And what are your thoughts?
I mean, I like it. I don't really have an opinion. I haven't been on it long enough to really have an opinion. We haven't sold anything on it yet, but I mean, it's very easy to list on. Very, very easy. And you know, they're still working out some kinks, but
Yeah.
overall,
They're pretty active on the kinks too. They're
Yeah,
trying to
are.
resolve
I'm
things
in the
fast.
chat of the I don't know what chat it is, but you know, if we ask like one lady asked if they could add jewelry tag, because you can ask them to add tags. And so she was like, can you add necklace, bracelet, earrings? And no sooner than 10 minutes later, he said, okay, done, they're added. And so, you know, they're definitely willing to hear our input on it and implement things that we all agree that could be beneficial.
Right.
So I thought that was really good and really nice.
And I think everyone who runs their own marketplace. So like Pete, Craigslist Hunter is running this one. Crazy Lamp Lady is running the one that you're on. How long have you been selling on under that marketplace?
Just shy of 2 weeks, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very recent for everybody, just about.
Yeah. How's the traffic, sales?
Sales are okay. I think it's still right now, like, although I have 12,000 subscribers, it's pretty big, but at the same time, the conversion of like views and subscribers over to actual like viewer customers is a lot lower.
Right.
But I feel there's a lot of good potential in it, and people are going there, are going to be looking for things that I'm buying that are going to be sold only there. And depending on the type of marketplace that you have and what they're doing, that it's the same thing for them too. You know, t-shirts, vintage, you know, things like that aren't just hard goods, glass, vintage glass, things like that people are going to be going to. Just like Whatnot, your favorite channels on YouTube, why do you go to them? Because you know it's going to be there. You know, they keep bringing, and that's what you love about it.
So you have stuff that you have on District that you don't have on eBay?
Yes, I have them separated, and I feel like most people would say no, cross list, and that's what I was doing, but I can afford to take the time to see if this works. If not, I'll adjust, and that's part of reselling and just being a person in general. You always want to just see what works, make little tweaks along the way, keep repeating those changes, as in like stick to those changes to see how long you've been doing it, like 4 months maybe, and come back and reevaluate yourself, see, did this change work, yes or no, and pick off of it. It's all about evolving along the way.
Absolutely.
Yep. I mean, the people in the audience, you know, especially if you watch my videos, you guys will know that I'm changing things all the time. I'm tweaking things all the time. And I think sometimes we get into this mode, just your standard everyday reseller, because before this channel, I found myself getting into this mode my first year of being full-time, where we find something that we see, it seems to work, and then we're comfortable with it, and we get set in that mode, and we lose out on opportunity to improve because we're just set in our own little mold there. And other things that could actually be introduced to the business, we're losing sight of because we're just so fixed in the way we do things. So I'm certainly a proponent of getting out there, getting uncomfortable, and trying something new, because it could fail, but you never know what actually could succeed if you take the time to at least give it a shot.
Yeah, like we have two eBay stores, so we're constantly on our secondary account running tests and seeing if this works or that works. Just constantly, we don't do it on our main store because we have consistent sales. We don't need to do any of that, but if something works on the other store that we are starting to, maybe implement something that's working over there, then we quite possibly will put it on our main store. So it's constantly, pivoting to the new characteristics of reselling. So
you ever sell a Bonanza?
No, never.
No.
I laugh because I hear people joke about it often. But from what I hear, even with the jokes, that it's okay. I don't think it's horrible, but I don't know enough about it.
But
here's the deal. The greatest thing about it is you don't need any software to cross post, and it's literally like 10 minutes to set it up, and then it just pulls stuff over there. But that's the only thing that's good about it. The traffic sucks. I just had a sale a couple days ago, and they're touting how you have to buy your labels through Bonanza now, instead of going to like Pirate Ship or a third party and then importing in the tracking. So I'm like, okay, it's a Ground Advantage package anyway. So let me go ahead and play their game, run the label, save the $2. And it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. The thing says, what kind of printer are you using? I put 4x6 label, thermal printer, and it printed the smallest little thing, like the size of a stamp, on my label. And so I had to go and tweak it about 1,000 different ways. Eventually I just printed it to my laser and cut it out and just taped it to my box, which is the worst. So it's funny, they're forcing you to use their labels, but they don't have their act together where it works properly with a Rollo printer. So that wasn't a very good experience. But then again, it is what it is. One sale out of every other month, I guess, is kind of the pace that we're on, but it's one more sale than we may have received, It's the way I kind of look at it. So do you cross list anywhere? I mean, talk about District, talk about eBay, any other sites that you shot?
No, I was just saying, I was cross listing on multiple platforms, and then I just chopped off the branches that weren't growing, and it's just eBay, Whatnot, and District, knickknacks on District.
Okay. So you weren't having really a lot of success. Do you think it may be the type of items, or do you just think, you sell a lot of things, and so it's hard to say.
It's one of those weird things where you could, let's say on eBay, right? Say we have the same Polo Ralph Lauren hat, same condition, brand new with tags, same color, everything. Bought it at the same time on the same day, whatever, down to a T. I list mine about a week ago. You list yours a week from now, and yours sells. And it's like, how does that work? Like with same title, same description, everything, item specifics. Like, I don't understand it. So I think it's just, when it comes down to looking at things, some viewers I don't think they look at things to bargain shop. They just see something that they typed in. It just so happens that item comes up and it sells, rather than, hey, let me see what else is out there, or what's the newest one or oldest one.
Yeah. And you can search for that same hat at your house, just 10 miles away from me. I'll search for that same hat, and we'll get different search results. Isn't that crazy?
I might get 10 messages saying, hey, do you ship to Canada? Which I do want to bring up, since I mentioned that. On District, for those that are interested, it sounds like John and Jenna have a thing on theirs with District. It's open to the US and Canada. So I do like that. Maybe it'll open it up in the future as they get the logistics with labeling and shipping out and how that goes. So just want to throw that out there, because I know people on my end from Canada do follow viewers and resellers, and a mix of all of the above and down in the below.
Yep.
So how big is a couple things. How big is your store on eBay?
I just purged everything I had. I've never had more than 375 items. and
Okay.
my average sale price is around $55.
Okay.
And right now, cleaning everything out and being organized, which is one of my biggest downfalls, but I'm learning. I have 90 items, but I average around, I would say right now, since I made the change, let me look. Or actually, I'm using my phone. I'm probably like, probably at like, I could go anywhere if I want to work at it. I could make like 10,000 in sales, but I usually keep it around like 4 to 5,000 in sales.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
And I have very little like investments. I buy a lot of things in bulk. Um, People send me stuff. Viewers appreciate what I do and send me stories of how I relate to them and they appreciate it. And I get free items often too. And usually with that though, to add to this, I don't just take it and say, hey, I'm buying something. I share their stories and I also give back to people who would do maybe better off of these items than me or donate them as well. And these aren't crappy items either. So I pay things forward. It's not just, oh, me, all about me. Thank you. Appreciate it. Send more stuff. Never that way.
So do you consider yourself a full-time reseller, or are you, maybe part-time YouTube, or are you sort of like 50-50?
I feel I'm definitely a full-time reseller. With what I find, even with how much items I have listed, I make a good amount of money. And the more I invest in listing and getting out there and doing things, the more I make. And I know that I can. I've built up a really good background and learning things from toys, the vintage glass, to costume jewelry. I love it all. I'm fascinated about learning. I love the things that I don't know about that are out there that I'm seeing that can bring me just as much money as other things because they're sitting around and other people are overlooking them because they're
Right.
not popular in what people are sharing or putting out there. Not intentionally. It's just you like what you like and that's all you follow and that's all you're going to see unless you broaden your horizons and say, hey, let me give this channel a try and see what they're talking about. Let me see how easy this is. And it's usually as easy as going on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, typing in those little keywords that somebody mentions, and you find it and you're looking at the prices people are listing things for just to keep it basic, not sell for yet. And you're like, whoa, hundreds of dollars. I see this type of stuff all the time.
Right.
That interests me. And I like to learn about stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, me too. Anything that makes money, we're down for.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. We got Duncan VR. Thanks for being here. Busy morning, parcel deliveries, packing up orders. Have to run up to the post box and post buyer orders. Lucky all smalls. I'll be back and jump into the live then. Okay, well, we'll see you then.
Very
I know that
good.
Duncan is in Australia.
Australia.
And then Daniel Lesage from Baton Rouge says 3 times in a row ahead of start of a live. And can I get 2 sales for a like for that accomplishment? So hit the like button, guys. It's sort of our thing here on this live. If you hit the like button for whatever reason, you're going to get a sale in the next 24 hours. I don't know how it works, but it just does. We have Josh Galt says pumped for this conversation.
Well, hello, Josh. Are you
is
still as spunky as this morning?
Yeah, he was fired up on his channel. I don't know if you watch Josh's content. Very business-oriented conversation in his channel. But
he got me pumped up. I came in and started rattling off to John. John's like, "Are you okay?"
But we've had a lot of conversation through the eBay Power Hour podcast that was somewhat controversial, I think, and got a lot of people sort of fired up in the comments, and that's kind of it's just. I think the thing about talking about sales and business on eBay is everyone has their own ideas, right? And their own experiences, things that have worked for them versus things that haven't. And they almost believe that, well, there's no way it can work for you because this didn't work for me kind of mindset,
Right.
With Josh Galt in mind, because our subject that we've been talking about is promoted listings. Do you like to promote, or do you are you one of those that just kind of let it sell organically?
I went back to letting it sell organically, but I was using promoted listings for nearly 2 years. And at first I started at 3%, and then I worked my way up to 9%. And I've even dabbled in some things that I think like 15%, but very rarely would I go over, say, 5%. And it was usually off of things that I've had sitting around because I feel like if it's new and you believe in it and it's that good of an item, why would you promote it? Let it speak for itself. Not to say even if it doesn't sell that it doesn't speak for itself. It's still a valuable item. It's just the right person or people haven't come around to purchase it or find it or know that it's there available. So I'm trying to learn more about marketing. How are people seeing things on their end, or how can I help people see things that I have on my end other than just listing and ads? How do I get viewers to buy if they're interested? What's the best route for it? So there's all these little nicks and crannies that I'm really digging deep into, which is why, again, I enjoy your content, because that's the side that I don't know about, that I need to as a business person.
I get schooled almost on every video, learning something new. This last one on Saturday, learned about the video I put out, ROAS, return on ad spend. I think that's intriguing. It's like if I'm going to put in $1 towards promoted listings, I'm getting like $10 back for that investment. Now, I guess a lot of people would say, well, okay, let's say if you didn't promote, how much would you be getting? Would you be getting half of that? Just organically, or are you totally reliant on that to get that $9.50? I mean, so I understand the argument that a lot of people make that they don't promote. I get it, but I often wonder how many of the non-promoted listings that are listed on eBay actually get throttled out of a search. Something we don't really talk about. I don't think I've even talked about this with Josh before, but how many people, because eBay wants you to promote, right? So what better way to force you to promote than to throttle your sales by not showing your items organically? That makes sense. So if someone's looking for your item, you have exactly the item they're looking for, and it's just not there. And maybe it comes up on every third time it's searched for, right? So 2/3 of the time, it's not even showing up in searches, right? Or they're mixing up traffic, meaning that you have, say, 25% of the people who are selling this particular item, they're kind of every other or every third time they're showing some of their items, and the other 75% of people who are promoting almost every time their items are being shown. That makes sense. I'm wondering if that's going on. It would make sense because eBay has already put in their terms of service that they are not required to show your item. They're not. They don't have to show any of your items. So I'm just wondering if that's not going on now, which a lot of people do believe that traffic is getting throttled, items are getting eliminated from search, if eventually that's going to happen at some point because eBay is trying to get everyone to pay them money. That's just the way they're doing their business. So
I think if you have unique items that there's not a lot of sellers on eBay selling, such as, maybe the glassware that you have behind you, things that are unique, don't really need to have a promoted listing because they are unique, and those types of people that are looking for those items, they know what they're looking for.
Right.
And if yours comes up, right there, then there's no need to look any further.
Well, I posed this question about a week ago. What is unique? I mean, all that stuff that you have behind you, Sonny, they all look unique, but they all fall within one category, right?
Right.
Right. So now eBay knows that they're all a little different, but they put them all sort of in together when when you're launching your item, it gets sort of placed somewhere. So my thought is, and I actually did a experiment on this where you go in and look for just random photos, like old photos of Grandma Miller, right? And you notice that the folks that promote just something somewhat close, not even really close to your search, but it may have the word Miller or grandmother in it, and it's somehow put into your search, and you probably don't even want anything to do with that. I think that eBay is trying to find ways to get unrelated items into our organic search results. And so your vase that you're trying to sell, it's being littered with sponsored listings that have no relevance to what you're trying to sell. I think it's certainly problematic, but you're just a basic guy who sells on eBay, right? You don't get involved in thinking about, and I like that. Yeah, no glitch. I'm going to leave the site because there's so many glitches, or there's problems on the platform, or the sales are going down. You seem like a chill, laid back guy that just goes with the flow.
I go with my own flow. I've learned in the beginning as a content creator, trying to figure my way out as a content creator and a reseller. You got to start somewhere, right? So say I see your channel and I'm like, hey, I could do that too. And I'm not trying to knock anybody down and say, hey, I could do what you're doing and do it better. Not at all. I'm just, hey, I could do that and I could see myself liking it, so I want to do it. Right. And then you kind of mimic that person, uh, regardless of what they're doing, and you start to realize you're more of yourself. Or
Mhm.
this is what I should say, because that doesn't come off as me. I could say what he's saying or what Jenna's saying, but that's not the way I talk. And that was one of the things my wife taught me in the very beginning. I would say, hey, babe, can you look at my video? She said, that's not you. She just laughed at me. That's not you. That's not the way you talk. And I'm like, but sure it is, because I'm recording myself. Right. But that's all I know. It's what I've seen.
Uh-huh.
And along the way, I started to realize what works for me doesn't always work for others. And I've
Right.
done very well with helping others, and they become more successful, more faster than me, grow bigger than me. And it's just the way it works. I've been told I'm better as a teacher than I am as a content creator and a reseller. But people do like the way that I am and relax and, yes, kick back. And I enjoy that about me, because personally, I used to not be that way in the military. I used to come off as a soldier, I guess, like
Yeah.
too of a trooper. I look like wanted to fight, and I'll get in a lot of fights. So I'm glad I've gotten away from that. And that compliment of laid back says a lot to me. And people approach me says a lot that I've
Yeah.
changed as a person, as well as a lot of things. But it's been a big part of me recording myself, listening to myself, and learning from others as well, and just implementing it all to figure out who I am, what I like to sell, and what makes me happy. Because you
Mhm.
could look at people that resell and say, oh, but this person makes thousands. Yeah, but what are you making? What makes you happy? $50 could change a person's life every month.
Right.
Right.
$50 more than what you had last month.
Absolutely.
$100, and you start looking at, whoa, I made $50. Now I'm breaking even on bills. And then, well, that was that easy. I only took like an hour to go thrift and maybe a few minutes to list an item. I could make $100. Everything adds up to change who and what you want to do for yourself, which
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
why I've learned also not to compare myself to other people,
Right.
because
Right.
we all have room to grow.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%, because there's you know my office is in another room, and I'll be listening or watching videos of certain creators, and he's watching the total opposite of what I'm watching. And you hear these, if you were to stand in the middle of the rooms or in the hallway in between them, you would hear, let's say you'd have rural squirrel on, and then you'd have he's over here listening to Josh or Beard, or we listen to some of the same channels, but some of them are just so completely opposite. You would never catch him listening or watching a look what I found at a garage sale.
I just can't do
He
it.
just
I just can't do it.
he can't wrap his mind around it. And me, I could be like, oh, okay. But it also, to me, then I, excuse me, it gets me thinking about, well, they live in Kentucky or they live in another state that stuff's not so hot out here, or I've never seen anything like that out here, like say at a garage sale or something. So it kind of makes you, like I said earlier, it makes you open your eyes to different things that are at a garage sale, or what people have been collecting over the years, so.
I agree. I mean, it's a way to learn. It's a way to learn on, what things are what people are looking for, that type of thing. But for me, it's just I'm so busy with the business, the eBay business. So when you're watching those kind of videos, when like you go to the swap meets and stuff with your GoPro, and it's not one of those videos you can just listen to, while you're working.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time I'm watching YouTube and I'm listening while I work.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about an item, now I got to stop what I'm doing and watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to appreciate what you're doing, right? So for me, that's why I really don't watch a lot of those type of videos. but other channels where it's like a talking head and just talking about different stuff, I can throw that on and just go to work.
Yeah, there's many times where he'll come out to my office and he'll be like, what are you watching? And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm just, they're at a yard sale. And he's like, but you have to watch it to see what they're talking about. You can't just work on this screen and listen to the video on this screen. And so I'm like, yeah, you're right.
So she's got the eBay or whatever over here on this screen. She's got YouTube with one of those videos on this screen. She's got her phone here and she's going through her phone. I'm like, there's no way you're doing all.
No, I don't usually have my phone
on. so yeah. Let's see who else we have. We have Flip It Good with us. Good evening, everyone. We've got Erica Marquez Blogs. Not sure.
She's got questions.
Got questions. Hopefully you got questions here. Callie Deb says, hi, John, Jen, and everyone. My sales slowed down again.
Aww.
I hope everyone else is having better sales. How's your sales doing?
My sales are good. Even though it slowed down the last week, there's a lot I've been learning, and this is one thing I'm glad you brought up. Even when people have been bringing it up lately in other chats, that their sales are slow. It's going to happen eventually, more than likely. Some people would never admit it, but when they are good, save that. So when it's slower, you're not depending on things that aren't selling. They're just sitting there and you're getting frustrated. And I've learned a lot about savings, and that has helped me out a lot to see my bank accounts grow and to see me just have the freedom of, hey, we're going to go to San Diego tomorrow. Okay, let me close up shop. I'm gone for a week. I come back, watching how I spend. So it's good to really invest in yourself by saving, not just, hey, look at what I sold. My sales are always up, because they will go down. And even for a little bit, it may be a real big sting. I had a big loss in my family with my grandma a couple of months ago. And I had just got back from 2 trips, like 2 reseller trips. I went to Charlotte, North Carolina, came back, and boom, grandma passed away. And this time I'm like, I spent a little bit too much. Nobody ever plans for it. And I knew regardless, I was going to either hitchhike, which that's over exaggerating. But if it came down to it, I'll do what I have to do to go to Texas from Louisiana or from Vegas. Right. So that was also a reminder, like, to save, watch what you're doing. The what ifs in situations like that, you really have to be careful, especially when you have other people in your roof, under your roof. They depend on you. Sometimes we overlook that and just say we're good right now because things are good. But what if they're not for a while? Especially with the whole Rona thing, when that happened, I don't think people were expecting that to be that bad that long.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I'm so sorry to hear about your grandma.
Yeah, condolences. I know that we had talked about it at we had a little get together local in Vegas. Vicky and
Vicky's too.
Vicky. And what could be Vicky and Katie?
Vicky and Katie and Vicky.
And we were there, and it was a cool little hangout. Right, we had the thunderstorms and lightning going on. It was just a fun little get together. Hopefully, you guys out there have local, groups that get together every so often, but just to get together and talk shop. And I remember the joke, the running joke was, it's sunny, not in Las Vegas, because you're like, we're like always gone, right? You're not Las Vegas like the last 6 months.
You're traveling somewhere always.
Yeah. So I remember talking. About that.
I am, and I like that I could do that, because when I started reselling, I was in a really big financial bind. Not having a job, having a degree. Vegas is one of the crazy places, just to throw out there, that when you look at, say, bussers, people who are waiters and waitresses, you're like, I would never do that. They don't get paid enough. Not in the casino world. Those are like $100,000 like annual careers. It's a big difference when it comes to that. So I'll look at it differently. But financially, I was struggling, and then now to be where I'm at the last 2 years, to leave a job, armed security for the win, the best of the security out there, to make that, and then just say, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to invest in me. And that's what I see reselling as, is not just investing in an item that's going to make me a couple of bucks. I'm investing in myself and what I want out of how I want to live and how I want to take care of my family, even though it's just me and my wife and my dog. But to me, that's everything. And that's why I look at things that when people call it burnout, the seller burnout. I don't have that because I don't ever want to repeat those feelings again. So I keep moving forward. Even when I slow down, I'm not stopping. I'm still moving forward.
Yeah, I have my days when, it comes to the whole burnout thing. I have my days where I'm just not feeling it. But those are the uncomfortable days. You have to push yourself through it, because there's been many times, working the 9 to 5, you don't want to get out of bed some days, but you push yourself to get up, get dressed, get out the door so you're not late to work, right? And every bit of the time you're driving to work, you're like, I don't even want to go to work today, right? You're dreading it. Mm-hmm. And so it's natural to feel that way, but part of being uncomfortable, I think, and we talked about this on a few lives back, is those moments where you're just not feeling it. You just, but there's something about reselling and running your own business where it's not that big of a push. It's not that big of a.
There's one, Jenna.
There's one.
We got one down. Yeah, one down. We got FedEx probably here.
One down, one
and
to go.
We have the mail coming here pretty soon too. But it's just something about like being able to get up and to do your own thing. No one breathing down your neck, no matter what you're doing, right? No evaluations. Your only evaluation is the one you give yourself when you're not getting that money, right? So there's a lot of things that I think we all have in common when it comes to that. And the idea of going back to a 9 to 5, it's just not, it doesn't feel like it's in the cards after you do it. So, I just don't know how I could do it.
I think I could go back and do it if
More.
it was different circumstances where I needed something, but I don't see myself going back to a regular job. It would have to be something insane. And there was one offer from a fellow employee at the Win that were starting their own business. I think it was going to be more on the California borderline where they were going to have a range. And this was going to be a high-end firing range where people from overseas would come over, drop thousands of dollars, and they just go ham on firing arms. And I was just going to teach them how to do several, like a saw or a M16, how to load it and shoot it, or load it, show them how to shoot it, and then let them shoot it, and they just go crazy. And I got a pretty good offer, and I was like, yeah, but I don't want to work for anybody. The money sounds good, but my time would be taken away from what I want to do.
Right. Yeah. There's something about not begging for a day off, or, being disappointed. You have all the ducks in a row. You have all the money you need, but you just can't take, maybe a day off when you need it, the type of thing. So
that was an Amazon delivery, not a pickup.
No, that's horrible.
John's eyes squinched on that. Oh,
yeah. I just, here's the thing. I mean, we do this at 3 to 6. A lot of people know that when our carriers get here, and if there's an optimal time to do it to where we didn't have to have the interruptions, we would certainly do it. But we get interrupted
all day, every day. It's just not we could try to change it. Let's say change the live to Tuesdays at 1:00. For some reason, the mail carrier would then come, and we'd get phone calls come in. It's never quiet.
Even FedEx tries to roll up about 1:00 some days, and it's like, dude, you're too early. 2 to 5, that's our window. Okay. All right, let's see what else we have. We have Joe Samard says howdy from NoCal. Thanks for being here. Kevin somewhere, but he says good evening. Thanks for being here, Kevin Hawthorne. Ken's here with us. Noah Design says, hey, Tropical Color, John and Jenna.
Hey.
Pork Chops from Texas. Thanks for being here, Pork Chop. We got Sandra Parker from the UK.
From the UK, welcome.
Maya.
Mike Gertis says, hello, sorry, I just got a sale before hitting the like button 1 minute before your show. Maybe the like button will get me another one soon.
I hope so.
Hope so.
Let's keep the good vibes going.
Belinda Schlack says, howdy from Texas. And we have Soda City Flip says, what's good, y'all? Help John, Jen, and Sonny and chat.
Well, hi, Shane.
Or hello, not help. You can help us too, but this is hello.
What?
He says hello, not help.
Oh,
yeah. Like we need all that.
Well, we need help, but I don't know if any of you can help with that.
Jovial Juggler says, hey, FAE fam, how long has the little help ? Being in the lower right hand corner on an eBay screen? Just noticed it yesterday.
Huh?
The little help ? Is there a help ?
Go to. Right there.
Well, I didn't notice
I don't think we've ever noticed
it. It's the eBay assistant. So I guess, it has a little.
How does it work?
Yeah, I'm not going to go there, but
Yeah.
that's good to know.
Interesting.
But I like how you said bean in the lore
I
for
love
Josh.
that.
Mark Suddick says a big hello to John and Jenna. Thanks for your help yesterday. Everyone hit that like button now and get a sale or two.
Yes.
Glad to help, Mark. You're a good guy and been very consistent with us, and I've sold Mark some things before on eBay, so I have no problem
We
helping
love
you out.
Mark.
Noah Design says, I like the Tommy Bahama theme, John and Jenna, very Miami Vice-ish.
It's the colors.
Yeah. But, we got the colors. Sonny's got the hair.
That's right.
Got that beach theme that, I think surfer when I see you.
Luscious locks.
Rhiannon says, hey, all, thanks for being here, Rhiannon. Mike Camparelli.
Mike.
Hi, John, Jenna, and fam, and Sonny Las Vegas. How you doing, man? Miss you, bro. Yeah, love Mike. Mike is awesome. Devon Short says, hello. Thanks for being here. And then we have Scream NRC says, I'm not sure you all remember me. I'm the one that warned you about a setting on eBay that will auto refund customers. Commonwealth Picker just put a video out about it.
Well, I remember you.
Who's Commonwealth Picker?
Yeah.
Jenna's like, I don't know.
A guy named Kevin. He's a good guy.
I love Kevin.
Never heard of him, but I think I got photos of him.
Now, is there a setting for that Scream NRC? Is there a setting for? I'd like to go and check it out. I know you said something about it, but sometimes I get caught up in the live, and someone may say something, and I'll never think to go back. So
remember, we have brains of a squirrel. So,
or speaking of squirrel, we got a rural one.
Perfect timing. So, Kristen.
Lissa says, howdy, dear FAE peeps, dear lovely Jen and John. Hey, Sonny.
Hey.
Maya says, yeah, it's your return settings. And Ken says, John, that is what we people call candy in the van drive-by.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, we just do that little creeping on the yard sale, and people are like, what is he going so slow driving by?
Just stop already.
Yeah, but I mean, really, if you stop at every yard sale, by the time you get the early jump, because early jump doesn't start here in Vegas, especially like when it gets like daylight savings. It used to be like from the summer till like a week ago, like 7 a.m. was like common start for yard sales. Mm-hmm. Now it's 8. I even saw a couple that were 9 and 10.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, most people wrap up by like noon or 1 o'clock. So if I'm trying to hit as many yard sales as I can, you can't stop at every one of these because, maybe if you're in a rural area or an area that doesn't have as many yard sales, but I'm trying to maximize my time. So I'm not going to stop at some of these sad yard sales that have nothing but kids' clothing and kids' toys laid out. It's like, I'll pass. I mean,
yeah, it's just not our thing. I mean, there's things that we will catch our eye from the street. So
Bearded Picker says, not stop at a yard sale. Are you some kind of psychopath? But the thing is, I don't know what it's like. Beard's in Alabama, so he might have a dozen solid yard sales. So he can map it out from say 7 or 8 until like 9 or 10, hit all of them. My goal is to hit as many as I can, but I know that if I stopped at every one of these, I mean, the goal is to fill up the back of the SUV, right? That's the goal. I can't do that if I stop at every one of these sad yard sales. And maybe I'm passing up a couple items that's on the table that I really am not seeing from the car, but I don't know. Maybe it's a bad strategy. I just think that's one that I need to employ because there's just so many. I
mean, there's always room for improvement when you're getting into something new. Yard sales for us, I don't know about you, Sonny, but we just barely started doing them this year, and we're not consistent. We don't go every weekend. So we've got a plan, but the plan seems to always deviate during the drive.
Yeah. And I think I want to start adding the swap meet into that mix.
I want to go to the one he was talking about.
Yeah, the one in Boulder City. Now, how late do they usually open at these swap meets that are local here? I'm sure it's the same.
Well, I heard there's one over there. Aren't you in Henderson side?
No, we're up in north part of the valley.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're probably not too far from each other. But anyways, we're not going to give anybody our 10-digit grid for help. I'm hearing that there are some in Henderson and some in Northeast Las Vegas that people aren't talking about. Not intentionally, it's just people are going to them and they're being posted up. So I want to go to them.
Um,
Like indoors?
Outdoor.
the
Okay.
one is there's Northeast Vegas, I believe, was Art who
No, that's-
put that in my head.
No, but Art, Art Resell, right? Sure, you run it all the time.
No, he doesn't know who that is.
No, but
I don't know
you
who
know,
that is.
some people may not.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Everyone
No,
knows
Art's
Art.
awesome. Art's a great guy. I love that
Yeah.
guy.
He is a great
You
guy.
You guys seem to make the swap meets work, and every time I go, it's like I don't think I leave with much of anything, and it's like, okay, I gotta pick your brain or something. I gotta go with you sometime and just watch you work. Because
I'm gonna be there this weekend. I'm gonna actually be selling for the second time.
you're gonna have a booth set up, huh?
Yeah. Myself, Carrie the Desert Mermaid, and a couple of other resellers that are here in Las Vegas. So we're gonna be there Saturday. So you asked earlier what are their times. So Boulder Highway Swap Meet is a small area, and a lot of people think it's out in Boulder City. It is
Right.
not. And that's why I didn't go for the longest time, not knowing it's like 20 minutes away from me. So that one opens Friday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., I believe.
Okay.
Broad Acres is the much larger one. I like that one just for content creation because I'm a content creator as well. It's always loud, so I always got to do voiceovers. Unlike Boulder City is really quiet. The owner actually doesn't like music being played. Got to meet him. He enjoys our videos that we get to promote the place too. But Broad Acres is a large one. It's around 20 acres of flea market awesomeness. It opens on Friday from 4 p.m. up until I think 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday is going to be from 6 to I believe 4 or 5.
Okay. That's awesome. We gotta go check that out on a Friday, Friday night after the live or something. But a lot of people out there, it's just another option because again, I don't know what your weather is like out in the other part of the world, everyone out there, but sourcing is a very important thing to do to run your business. And I just fear for those who can't do yard sales because the weather is so bad, it's not being offered. And you're very limited. So maybe you have indoor swap meets or outdoor ones. That's another place that you can go to, get some stuff up to sell. Now, when you sell your stuff at the swap meet, are you considering eBay prices? Are you one of those people that are
not at all? But there are some items that everybody has that won't budge, too far from the value.
Right.
For me, in my case, I have an abundance of things to where I'm priced to sell, unless it's like a disrespectful offer that I'm like, come on, get out of here, But other than that, I want to move things, and I picked the worst spot that we went to the last time, our first time. I thought it was going to be a really good traffic base, but I learned right there. So imagine the square, right? Like our rectangle. And then off to the side, there's just like a little booth right outside of that square. Any one of the corners you're imagining. I hope that makes sense. Majority of people won't walk out of this square. They don't want to look outside of this little path and just walk a few steps over. And that's when I realized they are not like me. I want to look at every little thing and dig through every little thing. People who aren't resellers, majority of them, and maybe some collectors, this doesn't fall for them, but majority of people are just out looking for stuff. Maybe they're gonna find something that they didn't know they wanted that stands out, and that's where I started learning like the patterns just off of this weekend experience. So now we have a better spot where majority of the traffic, you have to see this, and it's better set up in my opinion, physically to be visually out there for people. So I think I'm going to do really good. It's very cheap. It's like I think $69 for Saturday and Sunday. Really good location. And if I made $350 in sales off of the last one, which is not a lot for a lot of people, but again, $50, $100 could make a big difference for people.
Right.
I think I'm shooting for $1,000 in sales.
So what do you determine swap meet and what goes up on eBay?
The stuff that I have that I'm taking it's not even listed. I just have it in my yeah.
So you buy it at the swap meet with the intention of listing on eBay, but then you just end up taking it back to the swap meet?
Yeah. These are items that I've had for a long time, for like maybe years, or I bought bulk and I pulled from what I feel would be better for eBay or whatnot. Right. So now these other things, like, okay, I've already made my profits off of one or two items. Now I have all this stuff and I just want to push it. And there's also, again, I'm a content creator. So my aspect of what pays for me is different. Is going to be the sales, and then I'm going to make a couple of bucks off of a video. But I'm also educating people that pays forward for somebody to learn from me as well. Maybe they're not looking at reselling at flea markets or pop-up shops, because all they're seeing and being fed is what they're looking at, in
Yeah.
videos, and not realizing, like, wait, I need to really get out there and not be afraid to pull a table out with no banner and just say, hey, I'm here. Use social media, which is another thing, because we talked about advertisement earlier.
Yeah.
Advertisement on eBay should not just be eBay. Social media is a free platform that you're already paying a cell phone bill that you need to be taking advantage of. You need to be
Yeah.
smarter than your smartphone. It's no use if you're not making use of it.
Yeah, that's where eBay's going. They're going to be pushing forward to get more eyes on the platform through social media. I think Josh was talking about that.
Josh was very, very excited about it this morning.
So you sell on Whatnot, right?
Yes.
So what do you think of that? You have about 10,000. Whoops, I don't know what's going on with the chat here. You have about 10,000 people that roughly that are subscribed to your channel. How many people do you usually have on your Whatnot stream? And do you find that a lot of people are coming over that watch your content, or is it just something you built up on Whatnot?
Organic?
It's a little of everything, because again, for those who weren't here from the beginning, when I talked about your YouTube subscriptions and your following, and who buys from that is a lot lower number, compared to your subscribers and your thumbs up and your views. It's all supportive and everywhere, and is much appreciated and needed. And I'm very grateful for that. But when it comes down to people actually buying things from it, it's different. So I've had quite a bit of people gone over to my Whatnot, but then you got to consider who's on at the same time. Sometimes the popularity is a bigger difference and pulls people away, because that's the popular person. And the thing with that, what I like about it and know about it, is that the people that are still there and buying from you, they could either not be following the same people or know the same people that they're selling there, and or your items are really good and they're going to buy from. So I have a mixture of fan buyers, supporters. I have a mixture of people that will discover me on Whatnot and they'll raid me with a couple of people. So I end up having 5 to 10 new customers on Whatnot, and you'll see it on your shipping end of new customer. It comes in and this and that. So it's a mixture. So with Whatnot, what I like about it, a lot of people say it's people's trash that they can't sell on eBay. Not true. There's people out there making thousands of dollars selling items for hundreds, compared to what it would sell on eBay. And then the backlash on that, people will say, oh, you're selling an item more than what it sells for eBay. You can't beat people, or you can't convince them what's better, because they're going to hate regardless. So
go ahead.
No, I just like that I'm putting myself out there, and what I make is what I've earned, because I'm sharing it and making it available.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, no live would be complete without me cutting someone off at least one time. So I apologize for that. I would disagree with what you're saying. But ran into Art on Saturday, and the Friday before, he had an 8-hour Whatnot stream.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be like, she's like, you want to watch something on TV, And it's like, all right, we'll go on to YouTube, and here's Art, right? He's like 6-7 hours into a Whatnot.
He was 7 hours in.
He's probably at least a 12-pack into it, right? And
Art's awesome.
Yeah, and
his dad he is a character and a half, and oh my God, I could not get over his dad.
And just some of the stuff he was getting, like, I can't believe
he was just grabbing random items.
Yeah, and just
what can we sell now?
Yeah, and just listing it on Whatnot, and he's getting like people like fighting over stuff. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I can't believe it. I ran into him the next day at the yard sale, and he's like, man, I killed it. I was like, I killed it. Like, wow. And you're out here buying more stuff. I've already signed up for Whatnot. I signed up for Whatnot like last year, and I've never done it yet.
I just don't have the personality to do it. I feel like you have to have.
Well, you have a personality to be on this live stream, right? I mean,
Jenna definitely has a personality.
Not me though.
No, you do too. No, you didn't say it. She said it, which is why I said her. But I think a lot of it, you have people who appreciate what you share, right? Like super chats. For example, people who enjoy you when they can, they'll give you a super chat. And you might be thinking is because of what you just said, not knowing it's what you've been saying and what you taught them, to help them in their own journey. And the same thing with people that come time and time again in your live chat and mine and other people's. They're gonna go because they support you because you're helping them in a way that you may not realize that they may never share with you. And I think that ends up being your foundation. Carrie American Arbitrage told me this probably around a year ago. He said, "Look, Sonny, I think we were talking about views, right? Oh, my views are down." He said, "Look, man, you could have a bad video and you would never have 1,000 or 2,000 views. Just cut off right there." He said, "You will always have these people that are supporting you, 1 to 2,000 people come in even on your worst videos because they are following you and your journey and they believe in you and they support you." And that goes a long way with me, again, like as a people person, understanding and being grateful for everything that comes my way, whether it's a little, nothing, but there's somebody that's being helped by something that I said that I may even have taken from somebody else and just made it my own. Because we all piggyback off of everybody, and it gets tiring after a while, just crediting every little person, But after a while, it becomes yours, and I think it becomes very helpful towards everybody who's there, giving you a chance to speak what you need to share.
Yeah, that's amazing to me. There's a lot of some very, very dedicated fans, at least to this channel, and they'll be a part of the comments, they'll be a part of the chat, and then you have a segment of those very, very dedicated viewers and fans who will never comment, never be a part of the chat. It's just their routine to watch your videos. You're part of their playlist, and that's just amazing to me. I don't know, maybe it's never something that's going to ever be lost on me, that how amazing it is that we can just make a random video and people will take the time out of their day to stop what they're doing to watch the content. Isn't that amazing to you?
It is amazing, but you're also taking the time out of your day to share your knowledge or your struggles and your resiliency for people to take from as well. It goes hand in hand. They wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for something being shared that way. And one thing I like about when people started looking at lurkers, and this is my brain, how it works, I end up saying, for those of you who are in the background that never liked or left a comment, thank you. I usually had on my own platform will come up and say, "Hey, I've been lurking. Hi." And it's as simple as that. And it's just a little nudge and to show that you're thankful for them too. Because some people are shy. My wife is notorious for that. She follows is Judy's time since I've known her. When we were just dating and then we got married. So now it's been going on 12 years. She's been following as Judy's time. Never left the thumbs up. Watches them religiously, but that's still we still get something from it, even though you're watching, and it's still to be taken appreciative for it.
Yeah, just amazing. It's amazing to me. Let's see what else we have here. See who else is with us today. Let's see. Well, Scream NRC says eBay added where you can automatically refund, no return. And then when they added, mine got turned on without knowing. I can tell you I've had a return request here probably within the last week, and I had to approve everything. So mine's not in that status. Speaking of returns, you get a lot of returns?
No, and I was just going to ask you that. First, I want to ask you, and then I'll answer.
Yeah.
Do you have return options, or do you have no returns?
No, it's buyer pays almost on everything. Now, if it's something that's say under 2 pounds, I'll do free returns. Like on the other account, we have like 500 some items, and I think I have free returns set on almost every one of those because if there's a return and it's like $5 or $6, okay, fine, return it. If I'm going to get a 10% top rated plus discount off my final value fees. Okay, so I get a return every once in a while. It'll offset the return. But on my secondary, my main account, where I have large boxes, I mean, that's what they're here to pick up, these large boxes. We're talking labels that would cost anywhere from 15 to 60, 70, 80 bucks for shipping. I ain't doing free returns on that at all. You know, it's
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense to do that. And so what about you? How do you handle your returns?
I used to not do returns, and I found that opening this up 2 years ago, and I know that because that was when I started the Boss Reseller Remix. Jimmy Old School Flips, shout out to him. He
Yep.
stayed for me for a weekend, and I was asking him about it. And what he doesn't share is how much he makes off of eBay. And I
Mhm.
said, if you use these little credentials, that people would understand where you're coming from, and I think people would appreciate what you do even more because of the backup of how much he sells, right? So I
Yeah.
asked him about returns, and he said that I should open it up because it actually helps you with the benefits of when things happen. So I found that which I have very little returns to speak of,
Mhm.
maybe one or two a year, and I sell quite a bit. So even with opening up returns now, I have maybe one every 9 months. Like nothing really changed from it. So I think the items, and when you sell things and you package it up correctly, you have good photos, descriptions. If you believe in descriptions, it speaks for itself. And when a person receives the item, that it says one thing. I think a lot of returns happen to be either like just honestly, you overlook something like a dry rotted shoe. You may have bended it up, and maybe they twisted it a different way, and it cut open, it cracked. And then
Right.
the other thing is just you simply overlooked it, and it was unintentional, and it happens. But that's why that process is there, that return policy, is because things happen. It's not perfect. Are you losing very much money? No, only the time that you invested it on. And
Right.
even if it's in good condition, I'm pretty sure 100% of the items I've had return sell faster when I relisted it when I received it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and for me, it's the message you're sending to that prospective buyer. If you're not accepting returns, some are going to say to themselves, "Well, why not? What are you afraid? If you stand by your product, you would actually have, um, a return policy here." So I think it sends the wrong message to the buyer. Real quick, we got Larry Todd, our favorite YouTube hand model, says, "Who would support John Jenna with the stupid super chat?" Well, thank you.
We
I
love
appreciate
you,
that, Todd.
Todd. He has
Thank
the
you.
sexiest hands online.
That's awesome. So
I
thank
gotta
you.
see these hands now.
Beard says, have a district onboarding in an hour, starting a marketplace. It seems like there's a lot.
Diving in.
It seems like there's a lot of big channels or YouTubers that are starting the whole marketplace on district. And I think this may be in response to, I mean, if I'm getting these questions, where can we go that's going to be something other than eBay, where they're not constantly just trying to grab money. What can we do to create another eBay, right? And to me, it's always been, well, it's not possible, guys. It's just not possible. But
Agree.
you have people like Pete. You got people like Crazy Lamp Lady, right? That are making their own like marketplace under the district umbrella to bring people in and to give an alternative to eBay. So I don't know. I mean, the only the future can tell. Everything that is
Everything
new.
has to start out somewhere.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to have a marketplace, okay, so somebody started district. That it has to grow, and it takes time, and it takes persistence and continuous putting it out there. Hey, this is available, it is by far the easiest platform to sell on, I mean, in my opinion,
right,
to list on. And I hate listing, hate it with a passion, but I will list on district all day long.
So being that she hates listing, what is your least favorite part of the business?
Listing.
Why?
I like. I think because I get the high off of finding an item or refining an item, um, of learning something and that excitement. And then I get home and I want to find some new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
You're not
that
alone.
excites me, and money excites me, but it's the listening part of sitting there or standing there, however you be, of getting it listed. But it's so simple too. It's so simple to list an item within a minute or two, and it's worth 50 or who knows how much. Like it's super simple. I do it
Right.
to myself, and I bump my head against the wall all the time. Like, why do I not just list it? Like I have a draft, and I want to do this video, and I'll tell you now of what does $300 look like in inventory, right? Like as in listings, it hasn't sold yet. It could always change the price on that. And it's just gonna be a small pile of items, and people are like, that's what $300 look like. And it's to entice people that they may have items sitting around that they may not be resellers yet. They come across trying to find, how do I make money from home? I'm going through some stuff. How can I work but not want to do overtime for my job because I don't like it and I want to invest in myself? And they may come across a video like ours and say, hey, that makes sense to me. I want to be my own boss. I want to get away from this, or not have to invest of getting ready, drive to work, have to deal with being told to do their policies. And I'd rather settle with being in my tarantarans at home and nothing else and list my items,
Right.
like the way I want to do it. And it's
Yeah.
super simple. And it's just funny how I take I take it I take it for granted at times, like the little things like not listing when I need to be listing more often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest hang up I think a lot of people have in this business is, it's fun to buy stuff. It's fun to get that cha-ching and to even ship it out. It's the bridge of listing, getting from buying to selling, the listing part that people get hung up for some reason. For me, I don't mind doing it. It's part of the job. It's part of the gig, and I'm just, sometimes I'll get into a mode where I'm listing that I'm like, okay, I'm getting down to a point where I'm almost out of this stuff here, and that kind of fires me up and motivates me. Let's get this last 5 or 10 done, right? So that way it's done, it's gone, and I feel like I've accomplished something. It's having that sense of accomplishment that doesn't involve a cha-ching or anything like
Just
that.
one note. Our FedEx guy today hates us.
Does he?
Mhm.
I heard
Yeah,
Is it
he's
the-
not happy.
is it the same guy or is it?
No, he's the, when ours is off, he's the guy that fills in.
Oh,
And he took all the packages that you had, and I knew he wasn't going to come back. He was struggling to put the cart through. He couldn't get the big box
yeah.
through the pillars, so he had to go on the outside. And he looks back at me because I go, I have more, and he goes, you have more? And I said, yeah. I said, I have a whole pile full. He said, okay.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is,
He's
right?
like, thank God it's my Friday. And I was like,
Hey,
well, you can rest tomorrow.
we pay FedEx $4 a day to come here, whether we have one package or 20. So,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
Yeah, we had a lot.
Let's see. We have some more. I'm way behind. I'm gonna blame this one on Sonny.
Yeah.
We're way behind on the chat.
At least it's not me today,
And this is probably the most important question you're gonna get all day. There's one question. Who does your hair, and can my wife get the contact number?
He does it himself.
That's
I wake up this way. I just use shampoo and conditioner. It's the CHI.
Yeah.
That's all I use. I tie it up at night. My wife says don't tie it up at night because it needs to breathe, and I'm like, nope. I like the way it works out for me. And Jenna, before we went live, Jenna was like, your hair is on point, and I was like, I just let it down. Like that's all I did.
I woke up like this.
So you're not like Troy Polamalu that uses Head and Shoulders.
Head and Shoulders is actually the worst shampoo I've ever used.
Head and Shoulders is the worst hair shampoo for your head anyway. It has a lot of chemicals in it.
Let's see if we can get down here. Sonny's with us today.
Hey, Sonny Las Vegas, my double ganger.
Dean Funderburg says, I just got approved to sell on district, but it is hard to get my questions answered. So I'm not sure who you're selling under, but
who are you Dean? Who are you selling under? Because I know for one in our group, of course, we sell under Craigslist under. And where's my thing at?
Guys, there's usually a go-to for
there's a chat. If you're on the app, there's a chat on the left side, and you can ask a question to Ivan or Pete, and they respond like this. So put that in the chat. Let me know.
Okay, who else do we got here? Maya says, I'm on my refund and return policy settings page. There's no slider. It looks the same this whole year. I've opted out of business policies. Maybe that's why. Because Scream NRC says, look under your return and refund policy. You can now select what you automatically accept as a return, but you have to be careful. There's an off slider that is an auto refund. So I'll check into that here later. I have it up on my screen here, so I won't forget when we're done with the live and see what I can find on that. We got Brett says, hey fam, great sales, had $1,600 weekend, nice. 17 days in the Google Ads promo at $5 a day CPC, and made it 16 sales for $1,053, and ad rates cost me $89 so far. With the $100 rebate promo, 16 free sales.
Woo!
And
yes.
I know that Brett's been dealing with Poshmark lately. He's new to Poshmark, and we did get your email, Brett. And I know that I'm gonna have Jenna answer your questions, because she does the Posh. I can probably answer them, and half the time I'll be wrong on that. So I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'll get to it after the live, Brett.
And then Beard notices me tweaking out at times. Yes, it's usually when I try to get up early for Beard's live. That's when I really get tweaky. Scream NRC says, what I was told by a tech person in the US that works at eBay, said they don't know how it got turned on. It was a glitch, but you know how that is, I'm sure. Yeah, glitches happen all the time. Yeah. I'd flip that, says, hi everyone.
Well,
thanks
hello.
for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We have Ren's with us, and I'm trying to get down here. I'm actually making some progress here.
Patricia!
I've got Patricia. We kind of butted heads over the weekend, but it's all good. All reseller love out there. No hard feelings at all.
It's not butting heads. It's just coming from two different directions.
The eBay Power Hour podcast is very, Josh loves this. He loves this about it. It's very controversial, and different people, different thoughts.
I was reading the comments, and they literally give me anxiety. So it's probably something I won't do anymore.
Scream NRC says, also be aware in the Midwest, found out today there's a chemical spill in the United States Postal Service warehouse switch station, a mercury spill. It's delaying all packages through St. Louis. Well, if you're out in that area, yeah, keep an eye on that.
Well, I don't even know. I mean, I think it's more so.
Things like that. Usually eBay will have an alert to items that are going that direction to say, hey, or for the customers, hey, there might be a delay due to some things going on.
Yeah.
They're pretty good about things.
Jovial says, when logging into eBay today, received a pop-up stating, see results closer to you. Using your device's precise location may show you closer results for eBay. And then two choices to choose from: precise location or estimated location. Anyone else see this? So that's on the app,
I never clicked on it, but I did see that one time, but I didn't engage in it.
Uh-oh. And we got another one of these. Very odd. So Sonny's hair is like my hot second grade teacher.
I'll take that compliment.
Thank you, Todd.
I'm just amazed that Todd can take that far back, though. I just, I want my memory to be as good as his when I'm his age. So I know it gives Todd a hard time about being old. So that's my.
You need some ginkgo pills.
Yeah, but he's not even like compared to everybody that he hangs out with. He's not that old.
I don't think so, but it's just still, it's all love there. Stephen J78 says eBay is changing the most recent feedback a seller gets to most relevant feedback. I saw a little blurb from Rockstar had put out on that, and I haven't seen anything yet. I'm looking at my feedback, and it seems to be the most recent. But apparently, they're going to look at how relevant your feedback is, and they're just going to prominently display that for all to see. So hopefully, eBay is not focusing on the negative. You know, you have that one negative feedback that you're happy is finally now on page 2, and now they're going to show it for the world forever. Doesn't seem quite right to me.
Do we still have these?
What is it? Yes, we have the clear ones without the wood base. Yes. Okay. Patricia says, when did negs stop counting against seller metrics? So I don't think that they have at all. I think they don't count as it's not weighted against the seller like it used to be. That was the metric many years ago that people were like, you know, would freak out sellers because they got a negative feedback. I think anything negative that happens to your account can, you know, be weighted against you because the algorithm is considering all these things. And that falls under account health, and enough negative feedbacks. I don't know what the number is, but then I think things I've noticed when I've had 1 or 2 negative feedbacks before getting them removed, whether they're justified or not, it has put a little damper on my sales. I don't know. Have you noticed anything like that? Nothing like that. You don't get negative feedbacks. You just, I think you sell the kind of thing that the
people know that they want it and they know they're gonna love it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that goes for everybody that's listening. They're finding things who have been reselling at least 6 months in. They're getting a grasp of what actually is selling. And that's one thing I had a mistake on, or a rookie mistake, was finding items and they were selling and they were only selling once, like for some reason, and they weren't really trending items that there were abundance of people looking for. So I ended up having piles of stuff, of things that weren't selling, and I didn't know about sell-through rates until about like 2 years ago. I had no idea. I'm a very basic person. I'm an idiot in a lot of things like shipping. I didn't know on eBay that you could make your own labels. I didn't know this stuff because I didn't know the information. I didn't see it out there. I was waiting in line for over a year at post offices, and one day I kept seeing this one lady at Albertsons off in Summerlin, and I asked her, I was like, "Hey, how do you always get labels?" And she looked at my packages. She said, "You sell on eBay, right?" "Me too." And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Yeah, you do it on eBay." And I was like, "What?" So I was waiting in line, writing everything out, and like I had no idea. Again, like a newbie, I didn't know this stuff until it was like, whoa. And then years later came the sell-through rates, and then I was like, this makes a lot of sense. That's why people are making this money, which is why it's raised my average sell price to $50. I've even had it up to $70. And people may look at things in my eBay store and say, hey, that hat's only $20. Yeah, but everything that sells for more carries over. Is just a math thing, you know, like a basic number. And again, I'm very basic. If I implemented or learned more about it, I could do even better. But in a way, I don't want to grow. I just want to maintain. I really like what I have, and I don't want to invest more into a business when it works for me, and I get to have, again, this freedom around me to pick and choose what I want and not have to depend, oh, now if I stop, this isn't going to work out. The money is great, but just to be shut off business for a week or 2 at a time, like I love that I don't have to put in vacation time at a place. And then and this is a true story. I had a coworker, a peer, was like, wait, you're taking off? Why? I was like, oh, Luke Holmes is coming to town and we already got some tickets. All of a sudden they're like, hey, bike 3, called the office. I called and I was like, what's going on? I hope everything's okay back home, you know, an emergency number. And they're like, hey, so we have somebody with leadership over you or seniority, and they're asking for your days off, you know. And then now I'm telling my wife, like, we can't make it, you know. You could go with your cousin or friend. And then that weekend passes and I see this coworker, you know, and I'm like, hey, how was the event? And they're like, oh, I didn't decide to go, I just slept in. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't like that. People could do that to you, but when you are your own boss, nobody could do nothing to you. Nothing. You know, you are away from people face to face. I'm not a bad person. I don't talk smack about people, but I like that I just have this freedom and this space from having to deal with people face to face, especially with the whole Rona thing was one thing that really turned me off of telling grown people what to do that acted childish than their own kids who were great, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's really mind-boggling, but then it also told me what I want and don't want.
I'm going to address Dean real quick. So I'm going to show. So Dean, if you're watching here, let me get rid
What are
of.
you showing?
This is the district app. Okay. So.
You want to get bigger?
Yeah, hold on. I'll do that.
Okay. So you're going to go to the 3 little lines up at the top.
Top left. Yep.
Yep. At the top. Then you're going to see Craig's button right here. You're going to click. Hold on. I can't do it and do that at the same time. You're going to You're going to tap on Craig's button. Then you're going to see.
His name isn't Craig. It's Pete.
Craig List Hunter.
You know what I mean.
We got you, Jenna.
You know what I mean. So then you're going to see seller support. Or seller chat. Sorry.
Okay.
Seller chat. Click on seller chat. And when you open that up, you're going to be able to chat and ask direct questions to Ivan or Pete or anybody who's willing or able to answer the question. Usually, a lot of times it's Ivan is coming in and just answering the question. But it's once you're in the app and you see the 3 lines on the left side of the screen, click on Craigslist Hunter's tab. And then you're going to go to seller chat and that's where you can get all of your questions answered. And believe me, they go all night long. Literally, there is no break in conversation and questions being answered. It's a constant chat that's ongoing. I get notifications all night long.
All night long.
All night long.
So Emilio says, question, how do you guys price your products? So far, I'm doing the item cost, let's say, $5 plus 50 cents. So it's $5.50 times 2 equals 11. Okay, we're getting too mathematical here. Times 16.625%. Then I add the 11 to the 182, give me 1282 as my listing price. I think it's a little complicated.
Okay, you lost me at 50 cents.
Okay, so let's get that last part of it out of there. Just a question, how do you price your items? So if you buy that item at the swap meet for $5, right? How are you pricing it?
Depending on what it is, let's say it's a $20 item, I'm going to list it at $19.99. I played around with the hold numbers for years, and I found that it not being a hold number works for some reason for the people's psyche. So when I look at, say, the item I feel is $20, but somebody may have sold it down for $15, I'm going to put like $18 with the better. I always have better offers, better offer option available. So I have it right underneath. But again, depending on some things, there may not be any listings on it, and I'm going to fish for a price and see if I could hook it. And sometimes I do.
Okay. Yeah, I generally buy things only if I can get comps, multiple comps, sold comps in the last 90 days. And I try to price sort of like in the sweet spot. You're going to have people that are able to sell the same item at a higher price, and some are selling at much lower. I try to find that middle spot because I buy at such good prices. I've got a lot of room. So I start somewhere in the middle. A lot of people, I think, make a mistake in trying to say, oh, this one guy got $100 for this, even though most of them are selling for 70, and they try to get 100. And I think like 80, 85 would probably be the place to start, right? But a lot of people get caught up. Well, it's sold for 100 though, you know?
There are some things too. I was at a pop-up shop that I was invited to in California, and I had this box of toys that Carry American Arbitrage gave me because he's awesomeness like that. So I was like, hey, I'm going to make some money at this flea market. He's going to it too. He's going to get so jealous of what I sell it for. And kids were buying things here and there. And all of a sudden, one of the other resellers comes up, Charlie, who invited us to the event, and I could see he's interested in the toys. And I'm like, you know what? We're almost done. I'm going to sell it. So rather than $1 or $2 a piece of toy, and there's probably like several hundred toys in there, I'm like $10. his face drops like, I'm not interested, because it sounded in a way, not the price wasn't giving it the value of what he thought it was,
Right.
rather than maybe saying, hey, how does 50 sound? Shoot me an offer. You know,
Mhm.
I started too low. And I think sometimes when people have things on listed on, regardless of what platform it is, if it's selling for 100, and I see this often, which is why sell-through rates and average sell prices, it's important. If everything's selling, that you're looking at this specific item, this imaginary item right now is selling for 100, why would you drop it to $70? That may tell people you may have something damaged and it's not good like this one is, and you're not having a description. And that's the mind, like, why people always question why. And when people are looking for things, they want what they want. And if you, I believe in descriptions, so if my description is saying, hey, this is a good item, you're just getting a good deal, then they're going to invest in it. If you don't have the things to back it up and you only have one photo and it's about 10 yards away, you can't even zoom in on it because it pixelates, then it's not worth me even trying, because I feel like you're going to try to get me. And then you
Yeah.
may also have an item that says no return policy. Now you've already blocked me away from a potential sale. So all these little things matter to me.
And it's funny, we have these buyers, they range anywhere from, they don't even bother to read anything that you have in the listing, and
Yeah.
all the way up to like super sleuths, right? You have like Sherlock Holmes that's looking for the item that they're trying to buy. They're
Do you
looking
mean
at
Larry?
every little clue
Larry.
they can find in the listing to determine if they're going to buy it or not. I think it's amazing. Five-figure eBay seller says, just shipped out a sweater to John in Las Vegas. I promise you there's probably thousands upon thousands of Johns. I ain't the guy that bought your sweater. I'm sorry.
And just a keynote, John
No
does
H.
not spell his name with an H. So
Yeah.
it's Jon.
Just weed that down a little bit.
That'll compress the amount of people.
I do want to add, when you're talking about when people buy things from, John was saying somebody bought something from somebody on say eBay. eBay also has a following on there. I have a following of customers that are repeat buyers for
Right.
identical things that I sell often, like jeans. I have that pant size, like a 38 by 32. If I know I'm listing it, and especially if I mention it in my videos, it's going to get sold within a week. And I say a week because sometimes my viewers aren't catching up, like the alerts won't work, or they're like, hey, I'm not seeing a video, let me see if they have one. Then they watch it and they run over, boom,
Yeah.
sell. So there's things that on eBay is not just people coming in, you also have your clientele that you're building up on there as well. And you will see followers. Is there anybody out there who has an eBay store? Have you noticed if you have a following on there or not?
Yeah.
Let me know.
Tell you, I don't really have a whole lot of people following my store, and I
But
don't
you
get
do
them,
though. But you do.
but I do.
Right.
But I know
And
I
it's
do.
not somebody anybody promotes. It's just one of those things that people just do on their own. It's something that's not taught or supported by on eBay.
988 followers.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a whole lot in the scheme of things.
But
That's a lot.
88 people.
It's never enough, but that's a lot. And that's very impressive for not even, I don't even think, I'm going to say, take a wild guess that I don't even think you realize how much you had. I think you thought it was a lot less.
I thought it was a lot lower.
But I still think it's a lot. And I can tell you, I'm looking at repeat buyers.
Yeah.
I'm looking at repeat buyers when I'm looking at my sales. I rarely get repeat buyers because I sell a lot of different things. You watch this channel. I'm known for, talking about selling toilet seats to, dog wheelchairs. I mean, it's just randomness, right? So it's just all over the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the comments. There's people seeing that they have followers on there too. And over time, it's going to grow, folks, especially if you keep investing in the things that are selling. It only makes sense that you are going to be that person that they go to because you keep bringing it. You're shopping for people that need these items.
Yeah. We have Queen Boss Lady says, sometimes I complain about my sales on eBay, and when I watch videos like this one, I realize I'm so blessed to be able to stay home, be a stay-home mom, have the time to pick up my kids and cook every day.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
There's something about the peace of mind that you gain from being your own boss that you cannot get at any other job. Well, 99% of other jobs out there. I just think It's just hard to go to back to a 9 to 5 once you started doing this and making money at it, right?
And it's really easy to fall into the, not really appreciating what you really have in doing this type of job. You get into the monotony of every day we list, we ship, it's over and over and over the same thing. But we have to sometimes take a step back and say, wow, somebody calls us out of the blue. Hey, I'm in town. You want to go get dinner? We can drop everything we're doing and do it. We can, my granddaughter calls me out of the blue and I can sit and talk with her for an hour. There's just little things that this job allows us to embrace in an everyday life that you can't get out of a 9 to 5.
And we got James. Look at those luscious locks, rockstar hair.
That's right.
Love It Collectible says delivery guys come, but everyone on this live understands you should do a delivery person drop in where they come on and say hi and give you a wave. I would, but they have a rule for FedEx drivers. They're not allowed to come inside. You have to bring all the packages outside.
Yeah. So that's why when he does come, I have to physically take every single box outside. I've had boxes where they're so heavy and John's not around, and I have to physically push them out the door because he can't come in to help me. But he will reach his arms in, but he cannot step foot in the house. So, yeah. But yeah, that would be funny.
And then Chastity just got my cha-ching or ka-ching. Not a cha-ching. So it's less than 20 is a ka-ching, and a cha-ching is over 20. That's, yes. I've established that on this channel. I'm glad that you remember that, Chastity.
We got standards. That's good.
That's right. Hey, she remembered.
And then Urethra Franklin says, I got these legs from walking Boulder Highway all those years. The dewdrop in. Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't admit that, Urethra.
That's not the place. I don't care what kind of sale they had going on Boulder Highway. I wouldn't
be stopping.
No. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. How long have you been in Vegas, by the way?
Since 2015.
Okay. So we've been here since 2019. So let's see if I can get some more. Oh, that sounds like the
USPS.
Josh says, I've only been to Alabama once. That's where Beard is. We did some pressure testing in a tunnel in Mobile. Never been anywhere else in the state. I don't think there's a whole lot to see there. Let's see if I can get some other, if I have any questions. Well, we got a super from Cha-Ching King.
Scott, 1T.
Just because Sonny is here.
Well, yeah, because if I wasn't, he would have gave more. That's what he's saying.
Thank
Much
you,
appreciated, Scott.
So Cha-Ching King is into sales over $20 because the Cha-Ching is over 20 and Ka-Ching is. We got a return. 2. Oh no. Well, I ain't opening this return on the live. So, but thank you, Cha-Ching King. I appreciate you and the super chats. Certainly is appreciated. Let's see. Maya says, is it different from dynamic ad rates? Dynamic is just when it adjusts your rate, right? So dynamic is when you say, I want you to set my rate at the recommended rate, and you can add or subtract from that, right? You could say plus
yes.
0.1, minus 0.1. But as they move that suggested rate around, it's moving your rate around too. Based on what that is, and that's the thing that kills me, is because you can go in and list an item and it'll say, okay, suggested is at 12%, and then you can go right back in a few minutes later after launching it and then revise it, and it's suggesting like 11.8. It's not. It's always moving. What rates do you use? You just pretty much go. What's your number? Do you have a number or a number that you won't go over? Or you don't really promote anymore, right?
No, I don't promote anymore, but sales have been slow since I implemented it for a week, maybe a little longer. But I'll get back to it. It's just for me, trial and error, seeing what works. I've never said in one way. My way, like when people ask me my niche, is not so much of finding items. My niche is literally to make a cha-ching. So I want to find items that are going to make me profits, whether it
Yeah.
be a quick sell and a low profit. But I'm really pushing towards having, I say $40 or more in sales. That doesn't mean it's the actual profits, but I'm trying to find items that are worth nearly $30 or more. So far that's been my eBay. Even though I only have 90 items, I'm gonna about to add probably around 10 more items, and the minimum uh handful of maybe 5 shirts are like at $29. And that'll be different entirely. eBay's different compared to my whatnot in my district. That's gonna be more of apparel. I do very well with used apparel from jeans and t-shirts.
Okay. Okay. And Urethra says, if I recall, didn't you and some other Vegas resellers open up a flea market type shop, or was it just a seasonal thing? What's up with that?
I was part, what was that, 7, 8 months ago? I was part of had a boutique, little partnered with Mikey Bags of Money, and we were in there for a couple of months, and then some things happened and ended up leaving there.
Oh, drama. Blithering Rando says the hardest part is when eBay delists something but doesn't ding you for it. Then you got to talk to them to see if you can sell this item. Actually, they ding you for it if it sells and you don't have it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
MJ says problems with impressions in the last 24 hours. I called eBay and they agreed. They said they would refresh the store. They also said my store was on the schedule to be refreshed on the 20th of November. And then I guess the store's on eBay's schedule. It's probably the reason for roller coaster ride of sales. So, yeah, I wonder if that rep really just was giving you the right answer, or was just
trying to get you off the phone.
Yeah, it's you got to understand, if you're a phone rep, you really want people off the line. I mean, unless you get that real nice old lady or old guy that just is really nice to talk to, and then you don't mind it so much. But as if you're on the phone, you just are trying to get through each call, and you don't want to have to dig for answers like some of these people call up eBay and want to know why they're not getting sales. I just don't think you're going to get very far with it. Let's see if we got anybody else here with some questions. Patricia says, do you end and sell similar in bulk? That always pushes my impressions and page view count. What is your take on that?
That's what I did recently with purging, making sure all my items are actually in my store, because I've been having to find things, and I've moved stuff since I've listed, right, from 2015 or 2018, moving into the house we're in now, up until now. So I'm like, you know what, I really want to reevaluate myself and see what works, which is why, again, I stopped cross listing. I am now focused just on eBay for certain items, whatnot for bulk items to move fast, quick monies, which when I say quick monies isn't just like $50. I could have my worst sell day make me over $150 in sales off of things that I probably already, more than likely already profited off from the past, the bulk buys. And then now district, which is new, and I don't have enough there to say like how much money I'm making. I see the potential, and that's what I'm focused on, which is why I think you both are also there with Pete, Craigslist, Hunter. There's things that make sense to you and why you jumped on it or agreed to go on it. You know, that's in time, it's going to be pretty impressive of what works well for us and what we decide to do.
Well, you know what, for me, not even having a lot of background about district, when someone like Pete, Craigslist Hunter, reaches out to you and says, hey, John, you know, want to help me on a project, I'm jumping, because people like that are people that you want to just drop everything for. He's a great guy. I mean, every bit of the guy you see on the videos, he's the guy you see in person.
He's got such a genuine heart.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me, and I know these people exist, but to have them, to know them in person, and just through our community, to know that they're such genuine people who have such big hearts, it's really rewarding to be. I mean, we get stuck on this eBay island. and we're doing the same thing over and over and over again every single day. But once you start networking and you start talking and becoming friends with these people, you find out who they really are. Josh, Scott, Mike Camparelli, he's my personal favorite. But there are these people that are absolute genuine human beings, and I couldn't be more proud to be a part of it.
Yep. I agree with that 100%. We got Duncan VR says, for the pizza fund, repeat buyers are the best. I have over 1,000 following. They keep coming back week in, week out. I list the same junk. They buy it.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I love that.
And thank you. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I guess we're going to have pizza tonight. We'll talk about it.
I could eat pizza every day. I am not one of those people like, we just ate that. I'm like, let's eat it again.
Well,
pizza and wings.
There's only one kind of pizza that I like out here, and
Costco.
What's the kind? What is it?
Napoli's.
It's Our Guys Pies.
Our Guys Pies.
They were on drive-ins, diners, drive-ins, and dives. So
yeah.
But they get the notoriety. They jack up their prices. So it's,
but I mean, they're so good, so good. Just like Metro Pizza. Have you ever gone to Metro?
No.
Yeah, they've got bomb pizza too, but they're not local anymore since we moved. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about Vegas, guys, is you get just food everywhere. Just such good food.
Yeah.
Such a good city for food.
Yeah.
Kelly Surf Dude says you can only have 200 stores on your saved list, so you have to be close to 1,000 people who want to follow your store on the regular. You're doing good. Okay.
Good to know.
Randy says, started last year. I have 198 followers and have several repeat buyers. One is local, and she buys a few items a month. She's near me. I'm sure that I have a lot of followers simply because people want to look and see and compare and other resellers, right? Not necessarily people who are interested in buying from me, and that's fine. I mean, I kind of open myself up for that, but it kind of cuts into your traffic. You want to see how your traffic's doing. You got to consider that people are just tuning in to see how good or bad you're doing.
Cha-Ching King says, I don't want to brag, but I make a crazy good pizza dough. My pizzas are incredible.
Best pizza dough I've ever made is you got your self-rising flour and plain Greek yogurt. I don't know the ratio, but you get that together, put in a ball, and it tastes like sourdough. I haven't made that in a long time. And I need to make that. It's really good. But this is not a cooking channel. Urethra says, I can't keep up with all y'all, but I must say there's quite a sizable reseller community in Vegas. Makes me miss it there. Yeah. Wonder where you're at now.
Where are you now?
Ren tried to end and sell similar in bulk. Something always gets left out, or I wonder if that's something new or something I sold already. Get back in the store. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. If you have something that's ended, you want to clear your endeds first before you go in and do that process, because it requires that you end it and then sell similar. And if you have ended stuff that's in there that you haven't cleared out first, you're going to relist stuff and not be able to find it later on. So it's a tricky thing, and you don't want to end your items or delete your items you've ended before you've sold similar, because you're not going to get those items back. Yeah. Let's see what we have. If there's any other questions here. Cha-Ching King says, I really need to make that next reseller event in Vegas. Lots of great resellers there. Have you gone to the? Yeah. Did you go to the last one?
Yeah, he said he went to the Boss one.
The Boss reseller event.
I spoke at this one. It was really awesome. This is my second event I got to speak at, which is I got to add to what you were saying about Pete and inviting you over on his marketplace, right? Like things like that. And Jocelyn, Crazy Lamp Lady, invited me to hers. Out of all the people that they're looking at, they see something. Pete sees something in you that is like-minded, that you're his people. And that's a huge applaud of what you've worked towards and what you believed in, even when nobody else has. Right. And likewise for me, for Jocelyn to ask, I was surprised. She's given me advice with some things that have come up. And there's many people out there, not just because they're big resellers or content creators, but even people with no following, and even the lurkers. Like, it says a lot when you support people like us, that we keep sharing who we are and what we like, and making a difference for us. That is, again, making a difference for people that are using this advice, or even just as entertainment, and realize they're buying something that could be taken as, oh, that's overpriced. And you look, well, let me look on eBay.
Mhm.
Oh, it's cheaper on eBay. I'd rather wait 2 or 3 days to buy this and save than overcharging. And people say support local businesses. Sometimes local businesses are too high priced compared to what they need to be, but they do
Right.
it for their own reasons. But we all like options, and that's what we are always bringing and learning about, our options that are going to work for us or may not work for us. And we realize that we could make these changes that are working for us be even better and be taken advantage of in a positive way to, again, just enjoy what we do.
I agree with that,
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
And our buddy Mike Camparelli.
Mike.
Wow, thank you, Mike. Thank you for the shout out, Jenna.
Aw.
You're my favorite too, and John, of course.
Oh, Mike, I
Oh,
love
Mike.
you.
Talking about people with a heart of gold, this guy right here. I mean, if you were at, I don't know if you recall the Whatnot that Trash for Cash put on back in beginning.
Yeah,
of
I've met Mike several times already. He's awesome.
but out there, you didn't go to Cincinnati. I know that. I don't remember.
No.
I don't remember if you were, but we had that Trash for Cash Whatnot, and this man has a heart of gold. I mean, it just it was for a good cause. They had St. Jude's auctions, and he was just right
blowing
there.
It out.
He was right there
Yeah.
with everyone bidding it up. So thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
That's awesome.
I love you.
We have I wanted to read another comment here. We have, I think I had it up here. Okay. Patricia said, I had a rep tell me that they don't do store or account refresh anymore. And it used to be years ago that people would call up eBay constantly and say, oh, I'm not making any sales. Can you refresh my account? And people were asking about that all the time, and they basically stopped. I don't know what it was they were doing, but when you call now, unless there's a problem that they can actually see on your account, they won't even, they'll tell you there's nothing they can do. Let's see.
There's a new name
Here's one. Chris Branham says, hey, there's a question. How do you avoid getting into bidding wars at live in-person auctions? I have had a lot of experience of in-person auctions. What about you? What advice do you have for that?
Know your limit. Just give that limit out there, but don't start right at it. I think when people want that's the whole point of an auction, though. You want two people to be into something, and it ends up getting personal where it's like, now I want to beat you rather than just wanting the item. You want a twofer in a way. But I love those types of things for me on Whatnot. I am now hearing about some in-person auctions here in Las Vegas, and I want to see if joining those soon, and if I'm able to record, share that experience, because those are new to me as well.
Yeah, I think you don't jump right in and start bidding. You wait until they said going once, going twice, and then jump in, right? If it's about to go to that person, and then you kind of do that as your tactic.
Yeah.
You don't want people to think you're overly eager either.
Yeah.
So
I usually jump in at the very last minute.
Yeah, that's just my thing. It's maybe me watching Storage Wars all those years, right?
I want to be on Storage Wars.
I know, right?
Yeah, I think there's some that
would be fun.
Yeah, there's some that are kind of questionable that were on that program, but I think you know what, we're almost at the 2-hour mark, and Sonny, I just want to thank you so much for being here. I've been wanting to get you on the program for the longest time. I've been asking you, and I'm glad you're able to make time to hang out with us today.
Absolutely.
I want everyone to click on the link down below. It's for Sonny's channel. Go over there, watch the videos, subscribe, and help him build his channel up. Certainly looking forward to seeing you, Sonny, locally out here. I'm going to go and check out Broad Acres. You said you're going to be there next weekend, right?
Well, I want to go to the other
This
one.
weekend. This
weekend, yeah.
Broad Acres, you're going to be out this weekend?
Broad Acres, the bigger.
The big one.
You're going to be there Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're in town, you're in Vegas, you probably live here, but if you're visiting and you want to check out Sonny and see what he's got for sale, go check him out also this weekend at the Broad Acres Swap Meet. I'd like to go. I want to go Friday, though. You're not going to be there Friday, though.
No, not Friday. Only because that's a little later in the day. Again, on Friday, if you do decide to go, the big difference on Fridays is that there's going to be live music. There's
Okay.
great food.
Okay.
It doesn't. You can still shop there too. So it's not just the food and music. It's everything that they have to offer is going to be there. You could get really good deals. I have some favorite vendors. If you watch my videos or start watching my videos and see the broad acres, I have go-to vendors, but I also like to learn about new ones. And it's
Yeah.
really important when you, as somebody who's visiting in the content, and you see these vendors, mention like, hey, I see John and Jenna and Sonny Las Vegas, they were talking about you, and I had to come say hello. And whether you get something or not, it makes a big difference to these vendors because their name is getting out there and we're supporting one another, big or small, even with the hello. It's really amazing how that works out in a community. And that's what I've learned about reselling, is that I want to build on community and not so much always wanting a price on something. The value for me is people over a cha-ching.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so I think you might see me this weekend because I'm going to be out and about doing yard sales. Probably the last real good weekend for yard sales, I think, before Black Friday. And looking forward to getting out. And I'm probably going to make my way over there to see you. So, but thank you for being a part of this live. And we'll have you on sometime down the road.
Yeah. Awesome. Maybe I'll have I'm like you just being on your channel today. Thank you folks who came over and already subscribed. You just made me that much closer to 13,000 subscribers. Subscribers are awesome, but it really want you to follow if you just like my style. Don't follow me if you don't mesh. I do have advice and things that I find that could make you really good money, and I enjoy it. I'm a really laid back guy, as I am here live. I'm like this in person. I not anything different. I love to live, and I'm glad I'm here, meeting some new people, making new friends. I just love my life right now, and reselling has helped me figure out a lot about myself that I'm very thankful for.
That's
Awesome. Awesome.
And being that it was Veterans Day weekend, thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Yeah, shout out to all the veterans out there.
Absolutely.
And having people like Sonny just hanging out with us on our live stream, it's probably not the right analogy. No. Another example how flipping is easy. And
can be easy.
That's right. And I want to have an excellent rest of your day. Have a great start to your week. And we will talk to you guys very soon.
Take care, guys. Everyone. We love you.
Have a good one. Thank you.